Subjects must feel significant. When a sovereign conquers new lands, he must remember that subjects will not immediately embrace him. They see in him an outsider, an intruder, a stranger to their customs. To win their loyalty, the ruler must make them feel significant. Presence is power. When the sovereign himself resides among the conquered, the people sense their worth and enemies are deterred. If personal presence is impossible, then let trusted men be dispatched, so that the new subjects may grow accustomed to the customs of their conqueror and gradually adapt. The first rule of the sovereign: a ruler must be seen. His presence is a shield to the weak and a warning to the ambitious. To govern from afar is to invite rebellion. To dwell among the people is to command their respect. Thus, the sovereign must either walk among his subjects or send emissaries who embody his will. The second rule: no sovereign can tolerate rivals. Potential competitors must be removed before they grow strong. Protect the weaker lords who surround your new dominion, for they will gladly join you. In their gratitude, they will strengthen your hand against greater powers. A wise ruler builds alliances with the weak, so that together they may resist the mighty. The third rule: threats must be confronted early. A disease is easiest to cure at its beginning, so too are enemies easiest to defeat at their first stirrings. The Romans, when they subdued Greece, never allowed any local leader to rise above the rest, no matter how loyal he seemed. By contrast, King Louis XII of France lost Italy because he neglected these principles. Let his failure be your warning. On the nature of states: states are either easy to conquer but hard to govern, or hard to conquer but easy to govern. France, ruled through barons, was easily invaded, for a few nobles could be won over. Yet once conquered, such a land is plagued by the same divisions that weakened it before. Persia, ruled through servants loyal only to the king, resisted Alexander fiercely, but once subdued, it remained united, for no independent lords remained to challenge Macedonian rule. Thus, the sovereign must discern the nature of each state and govern accordingly. On fortune and virtue: a sovereign may acquire dominion either by force of arms or by treaties, yet neither path succeeds without the union of fortune and virtue. Courage, discipline, and leadership are noble qualities, but they are rendered useless if fortune turns her face away. Romulus, cast out of Alba as an infant, was compelled by chance to found Rome. Had fate not driven him forth, he might have lived and died a farmer, his virtues unknown. Thus, fortune opens the door, but virtue must walk through it. Equally, fortune alone is insufficient. A ruler who gains power by chance must act swiftly and decisively to secure it. Allies may be uncertain, enemies resolute. Only by establishing firm control over the nobility and raising his own army can he transform fortune's gift into lasting sovereignty. On cruelty and popular support: cruelty, when applied with precision, may secure power. Agathocles of Syracuse, though born the son of a potter, seized the city with mercenaries and slaughtered 10,000 opponents in a single stroke. His cruelty was swift, decisive, and thereafter diminished, so that the people, though horrified, grew accustomed and accepted his rule. Cruelty prolonged and increasing breeds hatred. Cruelty sudden and limited breeds obedience. Yet there is another path: to win the love of the people by protecting them, enriching them, and granting them freedoms they value. A populace that feels indebted will endure hardship for its sovereign. Terror may secure obedience, but gratitude secures loyalty. The ruler must weigh which foundation is stronger for his dominion. On the art of war: diplomacy is a useful instrument, but when swords are drawn, the unarmed must yield to the armed. Thus, the sovereign must be a master of war. Even in times of peace, he must train his body, sharpen his mind, and keep his army vigilant. Laws and institutions rest upon the shield of soldiers. Without arms, they are but fragile words. The wise ruler studies terrain during the hunt, imagining how hills may serve as fortresses and rivers as barriers. He learns from the great commanders of old: Alexander from Achilles, Caesar from Alexander. Fortune is fickle, and war may strike at any hour. Only preparation ensures survival. On citizen armies: Rome, Sparta, and Switzerland endured for centuries because their armies were composed of citizens. Mercenaries fight for coin, not for country. They flee when danger outweighs pay. Allies' troops are equally perilous, for once admitted they may never depart. Greece invited 10,000 Turks for protection, and they remained for centuries as masters. Thus, the sovereign must rely only on his own people for defense. A citizen army is the truest safeguard of liberty. On generosity and parsimony: Generosity delights the people, yet it drains the treasury. To maintain the image of a generous sovereign, one must continually bestow gifts until resources are exhausted and taxes must rise. Then love turns to hatred, and the ruler is branded not as generous but as miserly. Far wiser it is to appear frugal at the beginning, so that when generosity is shown, it is treasured more deeply. Caesar himself gained power through lavish spending, yet once enthroned, he tempered his generosity to preserve Rome's strength. Thus, parsimony that lowers burdens is more enduring than generosity that raises them. On cruelty. Cruelty, when wielded with precision, may serve the sovereign. Hannibal, in his campaigns against Rome, crucified scouts who misled him, instilling fear and discipline in his army. Soldiers admire a measure of severity, for they know it is the foundation of order. Better to be feared than loved, for love is fickle, but fear restrains betrayal. Yet cruelty must not descend into hatred. Punish the guilty, but spare the innocent. Strike swiftly, but do not linger in bloodshed. The sovereign must inspire awe, not revolt. On deception. Strength is the lion's gift, but cunning is the fox's. A ruler must know when to keep his word and when to break it. Promises are noble, but men often betray them when it suits their interest. Why should the sovereign alone be bound? Invite the rebel to peace talks, then destroy him. Such stratagems preserve dominion, yet deception must be hidden. The ruler must appear virtuous, pious, and just, even while acting with guile. Abroad, however, clarity is essential. Allies must be chosen firmly, enemies opposed decisively. Indecision is ruin. On advisors. No sovereign is master of all arts. He must choose ministers wisely, reward loyalty, and dismiss those who serve themselves. Advisors must be free to speak truth, lest the ruler hear only flattery. Yet counsel must be sought at the sovereign's command, not offered unbidden, for too much advice weakens authority. The ruler listens, but decides alone. On fortune. Fortune governs half of human affairs, but the other half lies in our hands. She is like a river, calm in one season, destructive in another. The wise sovereign builds dams and channels, preparing for floods. Fortune favors the bold, not the cautious. Julius II's father seized Bologna without waiting for allies, and success followed. Fortune, like a woman, yields to the daring and energetic, not to the timid and hesitant. The final lesson. Above all, the sovereign must study history. Let him read of great leaders, their wars, their triumphs, their failures. Let him imitate their virtues and avoid their errors. Strength like the lion is necessary, but cunning like the fox is indispensable. Generosity is costly, parsimony enduring. Fortune is fickle, but boldness shapes destiny. Thus, armed with history, virtue, and courage, the sovereign may rule long and well. Great deeds were accomplished by those sovereigns who knew how to deceive men with their stratagems. It is praiseworthy for a ruler to keep his word, yet experience shows that those who cared little for promises often prevailed over those who relied upon honesty. Remember, the strength of the lion is good, but the cunning of the fox is no less essential. Generosity is costly. To preserve the reputation of being generous, one must continually shower subjects with gifts. And when resources are exhausted, taxes must be raised, which breeds hatred among the people, and in the end the ruler will still be branded as miserly. It is wiser to appear frugal from the beginning and gradually increase expenditures.